Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz on March 12, 2015 at 12:22 a.m. Birmingham. And how Satan will become in charge of this good old green earth. 90% of the Earth's ice is locked up in the Antarctic, with the highest increase in the last 100 years. As of 2014, the Earth's temperature was at 0.002% higher, with a plus or minus factor of less than a degree, which computes to a zero measurable difference in temperature increase. And also, God put man in Eden. And when he did, he gave him a binding covenant, and that is Jeremiah 33, verse 25 and 26. And I'm going to read that later under Genesis, okay? Global warming is a manufactured deception to bring people and nations under the control of a few. This will ultimately be used to bring the Antichrist to power. The UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, said that by the year 2000, entire nations could be wiped off the face of the earth by the rising sea levels if global warming is not reversed. By the year 2000, how many nations did we lose? So far we've done okay. Computer data shows major problems are going to occur if global warming is not reversed. There it comes again. But still, the error factor in the computer is only computed by what man puts into it. So the man's error is greater than the computer error. Still, after this proof, Obama speaks to a crowd of Muslims and tells them some may still deny the overwhelming judgment of science, but none can avoid the devastating impact of raging fires and crippling drought and powerful storms. Okay, raging fires have actually decreased since 1960. Crippling droughts have decreased since 1950. Obama, climate change is still the greatest threat we face. Where is he getting that? And I ask, why is it so important that everything is put on global warming? Well, you'll see. Evil men and imposters will grow worse and worse, deceiving many and being deceived. Okay? 2 Timothy 3, verse 13. This is where the imposters are. Obama, Al Gore. Nearing the tribulation, we will have a centralized government authority on earth. Today we have the UN with no teeth, but that is about to change. On global warming, even the Pope recently said, I don't know if it's all man-made, but the majority is. The Pope is expected to have a 50-page letter making 1.2 billion Catholic members to take action on this matter and make climate control a moral problem. Later this year, the Pope will speak to the UN on this topic. This year, in November 2015, he will host the world leaders that will further heighten this cause. Again, it's all about control. It's all about fear. All right. So your mood or mode of travel will be affected. The kind of food you eat will be affected. Family planning will be made for you. It'll be dictated. Businesses will be dictated, as well as local and state and national government. When we see this happen, as it will by the end of 2015, you know the return of Christ is imminent. Now, here's what I was telling you, the promise God made to man. Remember Genesis chapter 8, verse 22. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer shall not cease. He made no mention of global warming or a deep freeze or rising seas. You will be killed for your view on this during the tribulation. Those who do believe this are abiding in Satan's lie and are using this to take control of the world. Another thing I gotta add, there was a man, and I did this on a blog over 2 years ago, twice by the way. There's a man that sat on a cove in a bay overlooking or looking up to a glacier 35 years ago. Keep this. He took a picture. The first few pictures he took, the camera, that cameras weren't good back then, but when the tide was down, it left a sandy knoll for him to stand on, a gravel knoll between some rocks. When the tide was up, he had to move back. So he took the picture on the same day, once a year for 35 years, and he watched a glacier recede from a eighth mile, a quarter mile, to half mile, to almost a mile. That glacier has receded. But yet, he's talking about global warming. Look what it's doing. But how ironic is it that he is standing on the very same spot? It shows that. It shows where he stands. But yet his feet's not wet. Where he stands, he should be under 40 feet of water. But he's standing on the same spot year after year, taking these pictures and complaining about global warming because the glacier is melting. That is another thing to tell you point blank. There's not a global warming problem. Now, the war, the Battle of Armageddon, is not going to be fought over the Jews like everyone thinks. It's going to be fought because God is hated by Satan. Satan wants to do more damage, just as much as he can, because he knows he has but a short time. He is not going to bring China and many Asian nations under his control. He will have the Middle East, not the Jews. They will be hidden away by God. He will have Europe. He will probably have the United States. He will have other countries, but he won't have the Asian nations. This is why there is the kings of the east will march across the dried up river Euphrates into battle with a 200 million man army. They are mad because the oil has been cut off. So what I just read here is your control, telling you how much you can drive, what you need to drive, how much fuel you can have, how much heat you can have, because you don't want to burn oil, and that is going to take it away from China, and China says, hell no. So let's get it on, and that is the Battle of Armageddon. Jody Wolf, Expoz.